We look back on the NFL Draft's first round. We've already looked at the teams that may have been winners and losers. We want to focus in on the players that were selected that may be winners or losers in this case. Hub, start with you. Who are some guys that really helped themselves? They're in a good spot, you think?
Well, I think there's two different ways to categorize this. So first, I'm just going to talk money, because even though you've got this new rookie wage scale, you still get paid a lot more in the first round than you do in the second round. You've got players like Ryan Tannehill, Bruce Irvin, you could argue maybe Shea McClellan, who don't belong, at least where they are in the first round, maybe should be in the second round. I think we said Brandon Weeden in one of our other videos. So, these kids got much bigger paydays than they should have if they'd have been drafted where they belong. As far as a player who's going to benefit tremendously from where he went, if I'm Matt KALIL and I have hopes of getting a healthy Adrian Peterson behind me, he's going to look pretty good playing left tackle. He should be able to protect Christian Ponder. And I'll come back to Morris Claiborne again. We talked about it on the other side in our other video. How many sacks is DeMarcus Ware going to get? How much easier is it going to be a lockdown cover corner when you've got the NFL's perennial sack leader rushing the passer in front of you?
Yeah, that complements each other. And it's funny because I was going to take it in a slightly different direction, that these guys may have actually lost a little bit of money. And Claiborne was thought to maybe be the third pick in the draft, slides down a few spots, but lands in a perfect location. Just like Fletcher Cox down to 12. He easily could have gone in the top 6. Nolan Araki, our analyst, had him as the 2 best defensive players in this draft. So Cox at 12, the Eagles trade up. What a defensive line they've got. My goodness, if Brandon Graham is healthy, it's unbelievable. 3 ends, 3 tackles. Put them all on the field at once to see what happens.
Well, that's where we're trying to decide. Are we talking money or production? Because if I'm Fletcher Cox and I got about 35 defensive end sacks on either side of me, I'm pretty happy playing defensive tackle.
I guess it all depends on what's most important to you. I mean, if you can get in the right situation. It's the thing with the draft is usually because if you get drafted higher, you're going to a team that's not very good.
Right.
But in this case, the Cowboys, a pretty good team, jump up. You get the best of both worlds if you're Morris Claiborne. We don't want to say that any of the players were losers if they were taken in the first round, because if you're a first-round pick, you're in pretty good shape. But who are some of the players maybe that didn't land in the best situation?
I am still a Blaine Gabbert fan. I still think there's a good chance for him to be a real good NFL quarterback. But so far, really ugly. And Justin Blackmon is now expected to be the savior, to be the answer. He's going to be the weapon that's going to make the whole offense better. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that young man. You take a look at number 10 at Buffalo. STEPHON Gilmore was overdrafted so badly that if he just plays as the player he is, even if he eventually becomes a really good player, I don't know how he can help but disappoint a little bit early on in his career. And then I worry about Chandler Jones. I think he's a great pick for the New England Patriots. I think eventually he'll be the right guy, but he's another one who has so much work to do that I just wonder if it's not going to look kind of unpleasant early.
Yeah, you're right. He's a young kid. Now he's going to be asked to do a lot of things in that Willie McGinnis position. That may be a little bit too much to absorb right away. I think Hightower's numbers will be a little bigger in year 1. I go back to the quarterbacks, in the second and third guy, or the third and fourth guys off the board. Still worry about Weeden at 22, and I still worry about Tannehill at 8. Will the expectations be too great in year 1?
Yeah, I just wonder also with Weeden, we know they're trying to improve the talent around him. If he's going to be the starter year 1, does he have enough around him to win right away if he's going to have to be forced in that situation?
Well, Trent Richardson and Joe Thomas are pretty nice security blankets. So he's off to a good start. But what really surprised me was Heckert saying late that first night, we might trade Colt McCoy. I mean, I don't care what you think of Brandon Weeden. Colt McCoy has still earned the right to compete for that position. Weeden's 28, he's going to be 29, but if he takes 1 year, so what? I'd really be disappointed if they traded McCoy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people look at Weeden and say, is he Chris Wenke? I mean, this kind of thing where he comes in so late, maybe he's missed that window where he could really progress a lot, and so we may have already seen the best of him. You don't know. He's a great college player, may be able to fit in with his skills to a West Coast system, but I see no value in trading McCoy. It makes no sense to me.
Even with a guy that's 28 years old, we'll still find out in about 3 years if it was the right call, because if he turns into the quarterback it sounds like they think he can be, who cares where they took him and what they paid him?
One other kid who's in a great spot, and I'm not happy about the pick. It was way too high, but Bruce Irvin in Seattle, they're not going to ask him to do anything but go out and rush the passer, and he's going to be good at it. That He's a one-trick pony, but he'll have some success early because he's going to get to the quarterback.
And they've got those big defensive linemen, Red Bryant, Brandon Mabane. I mean, that's a perfect situation. He just screams off the edge and goes after the quarterback 30 plays
and a pretty good back end of that defense, too, in their secondary. So you figured that Seattle putting together a pretty good defense. Even whether it was a reach or not, if he gets after the quarterback, they got a pretty good pick. Those are the guys and teams that may not have fared as well on day 1 of the draft. We'll have more for you following day 2 at ProFootballWeekly.com.